Welcome. I am Grace with Ecstatic Yoga, ecstaticyoga.studio. And this is our day nine of our self-love challenge. And we're just taking time every day to really focus on giving ourselves that love, setting those boundaries for ourselves, and for bringing that voice of kindness and compassion and love to ourselves, deeper and deeper states, really appreciating ourselves for the truth of what we are as divine beings and that infinite worth that we all are. And we've been going back and really nurturing this inner child from that tiny child, maybe 2, 3, 4 years old, to maybe 8, 9, 10, 11. And now we're going to go into the teen years, anything from 13 to 20 or in the early 20s. And just taking some time to allow a memory of maybe when we were in need during our teens or feeling confused or insecure, or afraid or hurt, maybe embarrassed, whatever it may be, or just not fitting in. Could be a circumstance that we had or just an overall general feeling. Maybe we were feeling a lot of anxiety and depression, confusion, overwhelm. Those years, those kind of tumultuous years when we are discovering who we are, and all those sensitive times. And let's just take that time and that let something arise within you from those ages that is a wound, maybe an unhealed wound, or where there's still a little tinge of hurt there for you. And let's hone in on that. And maybe if some others do arise during this meditation, we're going to really immerse and direct and shower this teen self with tremendous love, understanding, compassion. We're going to give our teenage self everything we wanted from others that we weren't able to receive, or the adults or the people around us just were not capable of giving us, or maybe they were so deep in their own suffering, their own struggles, that they just didn't have it to give. And even though you were a child and you needed that, and they probably should have been more compassionate and more understanding, we're going to give it to ourselves now. So closing your eyes and diving in and bringing yourself back to those teen years, and taking this time now to whatever time or circumstance arises, whatever hurt or wound appears and unsurfaces, or surfaces to into our consciousness, we're going to be there for that younger self, be there for that self. And you may be a teen, you may be young, it may be something that happened yesterday or last month, and we can be there for ourselves now. And taking this time to sit next to this teenage self, this young adult self, and be there physically for that self in that time of need, and begin to listen for a moment to what that teenage self has to say. We're going to let a little silence for a moment as we listen to see what the teenage has to say, teenager within us, that teenager that's struggling, suffering, wounded, confused, afraid, whatever it might be. And being that kind and comforting adult to this beautiful young child, this young adult, this teenager, see what arises to share with them, opening up your heart, being interested in what they have to share, showing empathy and compassion as you listen. You may have some positive and encouraging, comforting things to share. Allow those messages to be received by this young adult self, this teenager self. Begin to provide yourself with whatever you needed emotionally, psychologically, mentally. Even share with yourself something in the physical that could be comforting, maybe a bowl of warm stew or a walk, a beautiful place, maybe a warm hug. And taking this next half of the meditation and simply pouring in this love to this younger self, this teenage young adult self, pouring and immersing love, words of affirmation, acknowledgement, kindness, compassion, empathy, and the emotion of love, directing love in towards this beautiful young self, giving this young self everything you can give, all the love you have to give. Finishing up, any last things you'd like to say to your teenager, any last hugs, words of affirmation, waves of energy and love surrounding this beautiful young being with love, empowerment, encouragement, confidence, letting this teenage younger self see their greatness, their worth, their value. And when you're ready, gently and kindly opening up your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me, and I invite you to continue to share this love in towards yourself, to all these aspects, those younger self, those younger years. And if anything does arise, any pain or trauma or fearful or confused circumstance from your past, know that you can be that one now to give yourself love, to comfort yourself, and to help reprogram those experiences in a more positive light. We often create interpretations. We're not loved, we're not important, we're not good enough, all these crazy stories because our mind is so limited at that time. We don't have the entire picture. We just feel rejected, so we believe we are not important or we are rejected. Um, so we can go back and clear up some of those misconceptions, relook at them from a higher point of view, because a lot of those tracks, those messages are still running in our head and can get triggered in the same innocent, um, kind of childish thoughts will come and start running. Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. I'm not important. And they're not true. They weren't true then, but that's what we came up with, our assumptions, and try to go back and question all those assumptions, all those reactions that we had as young people in our lives, and reframe them with a more realistic frame as an adult. Thank you for joining me. Day 9 of self-love. You can please go to ecstaticyoga.studio to check out more information on our teacher trainings, our yoga teacher trainings and yoga retreats. I am Grace, wishing you a most beautiful and most blessed day. Namaste.